Hey, what's up everybody? Good morning. Pardon me while I adjust this just a smidgen. Hey, good to see everybody this morning. Today I'm going to give a review on a fragrance that I wore yesterday. It was my first from this house. Not too bad, not too bad. So if you want to know what I think about it, just stay right there. It's DB. I'm about to take you behind the nonsense. So today I am talking about PENNHALIGON'S Much Ado About the Duke. I have to say, it's got rose in it, and it doesn't stink. It's got rose, gin, leather, and woodsy notes and pepper. That's it. I smell the gin. That's a lot of what I smell. The gin and the wood kind of give it a boozy, woody flavor, almost to a point of almost like a very immature oud, which isn't bad. The rose that's in it is absolutely wonderful. It's a different kind of rose. I got a little over an hour projection out of it. It wasn't very strong, but it lasts a long time. It's actually still on my shirt. It smells really, really well. It lasted about 4 hours on my skin and gave me an overall of about, say, 9 hours overall on my shirt. And I just thought it was a rather beautiful fragrance, to be honest with you. I just wish it'd be a little bit stronger, a little bit louder, and last a bit longer. I grew up loving the Duke, and a lot of people know the Duke is John Wayne. I grew up watching a lot of those. My dad was a big John Wayne fan, and of course I became a big John Wayne fan when you're watching it all the time. Why wouldn't you? I saw it in my collection. I had it sitting there, and I'm like, man, I'm going to have to try something a little different, because I've been doing a lot of the same things lately, and I kind of wanted to get a little something different in my repertoire to try. So I gave it a try. Like I said, not too awful bad. It was actually a pretty good fragrance. I was actually quite pleased with the rose in it, because everybody should know DB does not like rose. So with that being said, would I get a full bottle of it? No. It's got to do a little bit better than that for me to get a bottle of it. 4 hours on my skin is not going to require a full bottle of anything, really. The things that last 6 hours plus on my skin usually get my attention. Unlike the video I did yesterday where it lasted 30 hours on my skin, that's the kind of stuff I'll be trying to go after. But the price point's just a little bit too much for a 70 ml. I have owned it. I owned it by swapping. I swapped something and I got a 70 ml full presentation bottle, never been used. So I loved it. It was a great fragrance. I had it in my collection for quite some time until I traded that off for some Creed Pure White, which I ended up getting rid of too in a disaster of a swap that I had. So anyway, I've had a few things in my life, but I want to address something. A gentleman by the name of Chris Spurlock had come by my YouTube channel the other day and replied to the exposed little thing that I put up letting everybody know exposed was there. And he said, Bradendorf's Professional Bail Enforcement is owned by me, and I've never owned any licensure whatsoever regarding that specific job title. So I will put up here, just so people know, I'm tired of being discredited. It's a shame you have to go and constantly defend yourself. I don't know if his intentions, what they were, because I just caught a snippet of the comment. I guess he erased it, or whatever the case may be. It showed up in the comment section, but when I went to the actual video, it was not there. So in the state of Maryland, and I will put it up down here, you do not have to have a license to be a bail agent. All you have to have is the proper paperwork from the bail bondsman and a letter stating, I have contracts. And that's how I kept my business fair and clean, is I had contracts. If I worked for you and you wanted me to go find somebody, you had to sign the contract, which basically gave me every permission to do what I needed to do. That was well beyond what is required. Usually, if I have a copy of the warrant, the only way I could get it is from the bondsman or the police. And the police are not going to just give any random person a warrant. It's not going to happen. So obviously, I obtained that warrant from a bail bondsman. So just to correct how I always have to defend myself, because people think it's just too absolutely crazy that Dwayne has done so much in his life, I just figured I'd have to get on here and let you guys know. In the state of Maryland, once more, you do not have to have a license to be a bail agent. Now, I live in the state of North Carolina. And in the state of North Carolina, it is way different. I've never been a bail agent here in the state of North Carolina. I retired before I moved to the state of North Carolina because I got married. My wife said, if we're getting married, you're not doing that crap anymore. When I first started doing bail enforcement, you know, there'd be a couple squabbles, a couple little fights between fugitives and bail agents. That was it. Towards about the 7-year mark of me doing it, a bounty hunter was getting shot at a couple times a year. No big deal even then. But as I got into my 9th, 10th year of it all, there was actually deaths and shootouts happening. And I haven't kept up with it since then. But to me, when you have an 80-some% success rate and your wife says, I think it's time and we get married, I want you to quit. So I retired in February, probably around the 20th, I believe. March 1st, I was married. So, guys, look, not everything in this world is somebody trying to scam somebody. We know that. That's why we do Exposed. We want to make sure we get the proof before we put anything out. What a lot of people don't understand is we do a lot of work before we put anything out. Me and John Castro have waited a couple of weeks to get as much information as we could before we put anything out on anybody. It's not, it's not like we wake up one morning and say, ha, so-and-so's such an idiot. Let's go check him out. Somehow along the line, somebody had to say something that got our attention. Once our attention has been gotten, then we start investigating. Once we start investigating and we find proof, we just can't find a couple things. We want to have hardcore proof that whatever this person's doing is exactly what they're doing. Why would we want to put anything out that can be, I don't know what you want to say, somebody can come back and say, well, that's not true, here's the proof of it. We already hit those angles. That's why we do so well, and that's why a lot of things are starting to change. Not drastically, but starting to change, is because people have been put on notice. We do our homework, we do our due diligence, and we really don't play around. We're not going to just expose you. I don't like Kevin Holt at all. Would I ever go out and try to expose Kevin Holt? Nope. Because as far as I know, Kevin Holt hasn't done anything wrong. Until I get a hint that, oh, Kevin did this or so-and-so did that. It's not worth it to me. It's not a story. It's nothing that's harming the community. That's what I'm looking for. People that are harming the community, doing the community wrong, making frag crime look like crap, which there's lots of them. Trust me, Exposed is going to have a whole list of things, I promise you. So anyway, guys, thank you for sliding by. Thank you for supporting me. If you haven't gone over to Exposed TV, look for the cross that says Exposed, and that's where you'll find me. Get on over there because April 1st was supposed to be our start. Looks like it's probably going to be this coming Monday. I will put out the first episode of Exposed, and I don't want anybody missing it. So, hey, thanks a lot. This is DB. I just took you behind the nonsense. Y'all have a good one.